as promised, our boy Naoki Yoshida has made it happen. We finally got the Final Fantasy XVI official website. You know, for a while I was thinking maybe this thing wasn't going to happen. I mean, it's October 29th today, and they were grinding it down to the last minute. They said that this website was coming in October. Every day I was kind of like, where is it? Where is it? It was like, I don't think it's coming anymore. But they proved me wrong. It finally came. First and foremost, we have this completely sick artwork of our protagonist, who we have a name for. His name is Cleve Rossfield. And we'll be reading off some more information on him in a second. We also have the icon Phoenix and the icon Ifrit, and they're sort of clashing with MC here, standing in the middle. We don't have to call him MC anymore. His name is Cleve. His sword is sick. His awesome leather pants here. Dude's got these nice boots. The sick cape. I love his character design, actually. I feel like it's very refreshing because, like, you know, the last few major Final Fantasies we've gotten like Nomada style character designs, which I love his character designs, don't get me wrong, but it's just refreshing to see something like this for like the Final Fantasy MC. And then of course we have like his arms here too, I'm noticing, that also sort of have that iconness, you know. And then we also have this amazing looking city in the background here. It almost reminds me of like Altisha maybe, because it's right here by some body of water, but it looks amazing. Scroll down, we got the Final Fantasy XVI Awakening trailer, same thing that we've already seen. You guys have seen that 100 times. If you're like me, you've probably seen it 1,000. We got the world, which we'll come back to in just a second, but a lot of the concept art from the world is basically what I love about Final Fantasy XIV, is that the environmental design is gorgeous, and from a lot of the artwork that we're seeing here, that same spirit of having amazing, gorgeous environmental design is something that's going to be a big part of 16. But this is the part that I really want to focus on. By the way, I just want to touch on this, the message from the developers here. This is something that I've covered in a previous video. Originally, this game had said PC and PS5, yet again with the website reconfirming what both Square and Sony have said, that this game is actually a PlayStation 5 timed exclusive, or we assume it's a timed exclusive, but for right now they're only putting out that this is coming to PlayStation 5. Now let's get to the part that I want to get to, which is the characters. We're going to start with Cleve Rossfield, the firstborn son of the Archduke of Rosaria. Though all expected him to inherit the Phoenix's flames and awaken as its dominant, the destiny instead chose his younger brother Joshua to bear the burden. In search of a role of his own, Cleve dedicated himself to mastering the blade. His practice pays off when at just 15 years of age, he wins the ducal tournament and is dubbed the first shield of Rosaria, tasked to guard the Phoenix and blessed with the ability to wield a part of his fire. Alas, Cleve's promising career is to end the tragedy at the hands of a mysterious dark icon, Ifrit, setting him on a dangerous road to revenge. And then so here we got like the sort of young design for Cleve. Looks pretty good. I prefer the older design. As you can imagine, we're going to spend a lot more time playing as him as an older character than as his younger form. A lot of just interesting information here. He was the one who was expected to be the dominant for the Akon. Instead, it was his little brother who was chosen. And so you might get an idea of where they're probably going with this whole revenge story thing, right? Moving forward, though, we got Joshua here, the second son of the Archduke of Rosaria and Cleve's younger brother by 5 years. Joshua awoke as the dominant of the Phoenix soon after his birth. Despite his noble upbringing, Joshua treats all his father's subjects with warmth and affection, none more so than Cleve, whom he deeply admires. Joshua often laments that it was he, the frail, bookish younger son, who was granted command of the Firebird's flames, and not his stronger, braver brother. While Cleve will gladly throw himself into any danger, Joshua quails at the sight of a carrot on his dinner plate. Oh no. Oh no. I hope Joshua's not going to be another hope. But carrots become the least of his concern when he too is swept up in the tragic events that change Cleve's life forever. Okay, so actually, let me go back to this. This kind of implies that this last part here, swept up into the tragic events that change Cleve's life forever. You know, initially we're thinking that something happens to Joshua here, but it says that Joshua, is swept up into the tragic events that change Cleve's life. So that kind of implies that, you know, something is mostly happening to Cleve, some sort of punishment or whatever. You know, all we know is that revenge seems to be a key element of the story. But whatever it is, you know, man, you know, I just said a minute ago that, okay, maybe something's happening to Joshua. But after reading that, now I'm thinking, okay, something's happening to Cleve here. In either case, I'm interested to see what happens, because I think most of the discussions so far about the game, about the story, have been about something particularly happening to Joshua here, motivating Cleve. But who knows? Who knows how that'll play out? This girl here, a lot of Shiva essence from what it looks like. A lot of theories that she's Shiva's dominant. Her bio reads, born in the fallen northern territories, Jill was taken from her homeland at a tender age to become a ward of Rosaria, securing peace between the two warring nations. The Archduke insisted that she be raised alongside his sons, and now at 12 years of age, she is as much part of the Rossfield household as Cleve and Joshua. Ever kind, gracious, and unassuming, Jill has become a trusted confidant to the brothers. So again, there's a lot of theories that she's Shiva's dominant. Nothing confirmed on that in this bio, but I mean, the hair, the color scheme, I would not be surprised if they're pulling another Lady Iceheart here like they did with Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, the whole dominance and Akon thing is already kind of Final Fantasy XIV as it is, but let's go on over to World here. So this was the piece of concept art that we had saw before Final Fantasy XVI was even announced. This is something that they had put on one of their hiring pages, and at the time, I looked at it and I immediately was like, this is Final Fantasy XVI. I knew it right away. Yoshida had said something like a long time ago where he basically was like, if I was the one creating Final Fantasy XVI, it would probably be something like Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward, which, by the way, I just completed the base 3.0 for Heavensward, and I loved it. One of the best Final Fantasy stories that I have experienced since... I don't even know. Final Fantasy XIV, if you're not playing it, go play it right now. I know it's an MMO. I don't care. Go play it. If you're a fan of the single player series, you still need to play Final Fantasy XIV. It's amazing. It's one of the best Final Fantasies of modern times. But moving forward, the name of this place, I'm probably going to butcher this. Valistia? Let me see if there's not a way that you could Google to pronounce. No, there's nothing out there to help me pronounce it. Valsithia is how we're gonna call it in the video. I'll let all of you very intelligent people correct me in the comment section or how you think it's supposed to be pronounced, but Valistia, a land blessed in the light of the Mother Crystals. The land of Valistia is studded with Mother Crystals, glimmering mountains of crystal that tower over the realms around them, blessing them with ether. There goes some other Final Fantasy XIV stuff. In Final Fantasy XIV, you have just like mountains of crystal everywhere. And of course, ether, right? So for generations, people have flocked to these beacons to take advantage of their blessings, using the ether to conjure magics that let them live lives of comfort and plenty. Great powers have grown up around each Mother Crystal, and an uneasy peace has long reigned between them. Yet now the peace falters as the spread of the blight threatens to destroy their dominance. To destroy their dominions. Then we get a good look at the Akon of Phoenix here, and then they talk about the Akons and their dominance. The Akons are the most powerful and deadly creatures in Valistia. Each resides in a dominant, a single man or woman who is blessed with the ability to call upon their dread power. In some nations, these dominants are treated as royalty in admiration of this strength. In others, they are bound in fear of it and are forced to serve as a weapon of war. Those who are born as dominants cannot escape their fate. however cruel it may be. So it looks like being a dominant can either be like a real blessing or a curse. You know, sometimes being a dominant makes you into a like royalty character, makes you into like a prince, and then sometimes it's just gonna make you into a tool for war. Not like the best thing that could ever happen to you. Oh, the realms of Valsithia. Oh wow. Okay, we got some nations, some city-states going on here. Some more stuff that's going to remind me of Final Fantasy XIV here, especially like the way these flags are and the way they're designed. Oh man, this is very Final Fantasy XIV. I mean that in the best way possible too. Dude, we got 6 different nations here, which actually is probably the most I've seen in a long time. Final Fantasy XV had like 4 nations, and you know, you only got to really explore one of them. You got to see like a little bit of Tenebrae, and you know, Accordo like wasn't even there. You only got to see Altissia, which was like their main city state, and then you got to see like 2% of Niflheim. I don't know, but the fact that they're saying that there's going to be like 6 nations here, that's pretty crazy. Let's start with Rosaria here. The Grand Duchy of Rosaria. Long ago, a small group of independent provinces in western Valsithia found strength and unity and formed the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. After years of relative prosperity, the duchy now finds itself threatened by the spread of the Blight. A threat that, left unchecked, would doubtlessly usher the realm to ruin. Rosaria draws its ether from the Drake's Breath, a mother crystal situated on a volcanic island off the coast. The dominant of the Phoenix, icon of fire, is enthroned as Archduke when they come of age. Okay, so this is basically where the protagonists come from, of course. As we saw mentioned earlier, Rosaria is basically where we're going to be probably starting our adventure. And then here come the bad guys, the Holy Empire. I can't imagine them being the good guys in any capacity, or at least not even like the neutral guys. They're the Holy Empire. They're bad. The Holy Empire of Sandbrick. That's how I'm going to pronounce it for this. I will let you, again, intelligent people, tell me how to pronounce that below. Sandbrick is the largest theocratic force in Valsithia. The Empire's holy capital of Oriflame is built around Drake's Head, the mother crystal that blesses the surrounding province with abundance of ether. The people have happily taken advantage of this, living in comfort and security under the watchful gaze of the Holy Emperor, whom they worship as the living incarnation of the one true deity. They're evil, I'm telling you right now, JRPG logic, that's the only thing that's possible. That's the only thing that's possible. They're evil. The Holy Emperor is trying to become God. He already views himself as the one true entity. Anyway, the dominant of blank, oh, they're censoring it. They're censoring it because it's a spoiler, serves as the Empire's champion, taking to the field in times of war to rout its enemies. Interesting. I wonder who it could be. You tell by this that their sort of symbol like looks like a dragon here. I would want to say Bahamut because that would make the most sense, right? But then it's got like this horn here. I really don't know. I'll let you guys take a guess here. I would say that the Holy Kingdom of Volud, however you say it here, the Kingdom of Volud here, their summon seems to be Exion here. I'm probably gonna upload this video and you guys are gonna tell me who it is, and then I'm immediately going to feel like the biggest idiot in the world for not recognizing who this Final Fantasy summon is supposed to be here. Obviously, this is Phoenix, but please in the comments let me know who you think this is supposed to be. But anyway, again, the Kingdom of I don't know how to pronounce these fantasy words. Walud. That's what I'm going to call it for the sake of discussion today. Again, let me know how you think it's pronounced below. Walud claims the entirety of Ash, the eastern half of Valsithia, as its dominion. The kingdom's control of the continent has often been tested by the orcs and other beastmen who make their homes there, but the current ruler of the realm, dominant of... telling you, it's probably Exion. That's what it looks like. Anyway, has succeeded in quelling their rebellions. Using the power of the kingdom's mother crystal, Drake's Spine, this new kingdom has built up a mighty army, with which he now seeks to test the borders of his neighbors. But here we have the Dalmekian Republic, I assume. Interesting flag design here. It says the Dalmekian Republic is made up of 5 states, from which the members of its ruling parliament are drawn. Its mother crystal, Drake's Fang, is half hidden in the heart of a mountain range. The Republic's control over it and its ether, securing obedience of the large part of southern Valsithia. The dominant titan, Icon of Earth, is installed as a special supervisor to Parliament and has a significant say in its decision making. Okay, well, it spelled it out for us. Titan is the dominant here. Okay, sweet. That makes sense. Okay, so not censored on this one. We know for a fact that Titan is going to be the dominant for here. That's awesome. Let's go over to the Iron Kingdom. I actually know how to pronounce that one. And they got some axes here. So that's interesting. Let's read what they have to say here. A small group of islands off the coast of Storms, the western half of Valsithia's twin realms, an extreme faith that worships crystals, reign supreme. The Iron Kingdom controls Drake's Breath, the mother crystal that sits at the heart of one of their islands, long a source of contention with the neighboring Rosaria. Isolated and aloof from the mainland nations, the Iron Blood speaks their own language. Orthodox doctrine judges dominance to be unholy abominations, and any unlucky enough to be born on the island are executed. Okay, so the Iron Kingdom does not like dominance. They don't like Acons, and you honestly can't blame them. If you've seen them, they're kind of destructive. They kind of blow everything up. You don't really want Acons roaming around. They kind of blow things up. They're not exactly the greatest thing to have. Okay, and then let me just scoot myself over here. Here we go. The Crystalline Dominion. The Crystalline Dominion sits at the heart of Valsithia, built around the tallest of all mother crystals, Drake's Tail. Many bloody battles were fought for control of this small plot of land due to its strategic importance, till the warring realms finally agreed to its armistice. As part of the peace treaty, the islands around Drake's Tail becomes an autonomous dominion, led by the Council of Representatives from the surrounding nations, each realm enjoying equal claim to the Mother Crystal's blessing. No dominant makes their home there. Okay, so the Crystalline Dominion doesn't have a dominant, so if they don't have a dominant, then it's likely that they don't have an Acon. So that's pretty interesting. Also, with the Acons always coming from dominance, it also kind of leads you to wonder if, say perhaps, that you won't be able to do like traditional Final Fantasy summoning, that you'll have to have either, you'll have to do the thing where you do the summons like mid combo, and you won't actually have like traditional Final Fantasy summons that either do their big attack or fight alongside you. That's actually an interesting thing to do. They may be leaning heavier into that whole action element of the game, and so they may rule summons out in that regard, which would be terrible. I don't think they will. Final Fantasy XV didn't do that. Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't do that. So that would be pretty weird if they did do that. I think that is all the information, though, from this website. Message from the developers. Again, we already read that on a different video. Been established. But all right. With all of that out of the way, Ultima, I want to hear from you. What do you think of Final Fantasy XVI so far and all of this brand new information? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy the content on this channel, consider becoming a patron of the Night Sky Prince, where I'm supported by amazing people like Jordan Gill. So if this channel means a lot to you, be sure to check the link in the description below. Shout out to Jordan and the rest of the Ultima community.